Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're stepping a bit outside our usual boundaries to explore a genuinely fascinating what-if scenario. Today, we're going on this speculative, thought-provoking journey inspired by science and nature. We're going to ask ourselves to completely reimagine the world that is quite literally right outside our windows. It's a fictional but highly structured scenario we're calling The Verdant Mind, a world of intelligent plants.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to just take a second and imagine waking up tomorrow morning. You're brewing your coffee, you look out your kitchen window, and suddenly you realize that every single tree, every blade of grass, and every little flower on Earth has suddenly become conscious. Like, they've actually woken up. What does that world even look like? And how does humanity respond? Well, that is the foundational question of this explainer. Section 1. The Great Green Awakening. Just imagine the totally vivid, honestly overwhelming sensory experience of that realization. That huge oak tree that's been sitting quietly in your front yard for 50 years, yeah, it's no longer just a biological fixture. It is actively observing its surroundings. And those flowers on your windowsill, they aren't just seeking sunlight anymore. They're actually thinking. They're learning from your habits, remembering how you interact with them, and, get this, they are communicating with each other. It takes plants from just being the background scenery of our lives and turns them into active participants.
Which naturally brings up an immediate mystery, right? How could this possibly happen? Well, there are a few speculative pathways here. It could be a sudden, mysterious biological mutation that just spreads across the globe like wildfire. Or it could be the result of incredibly advanced rapid evolution. Actually, maybe it's an accidental spillover from some human genetic engineering project gone completely wrong. Or, leaning fully into the sci-fi element here, maybe it's the result of some unknown cosmic energy bathing our planet. Look, the how is a total mystery, but the what absolutely changes everything.
Section 2. What is plant intelligence? Now, we're defining intelligence here with a really clear scientific baseline. We're not talking about just reacting to stimuli. We mean the active, conscious ability to think, learn, remember, and communicate. Grounding our scenario in this specific definition really helps us understand exactly what humanity is suddenly dealing with. So to be clear, these aren't just magic talking trees, they're actual cognitive beings processing information. Because think about it, currently, plants have pretty basic passive responses to their environment. They turn toward the light or maybe release certain chemicals when they get eaten. But what we're talking about in this scenario is active intelligence, something way closer to human cognition. They aren't just reacting on biological autopilot anymore. They're making actual conscious decisions. And the very first signs of this wouldn't be some booming voice from the sky. As the source material points out, it would probably begin with scientists observing some extraordinary, baffling anomalies. We're talking trees reacting to seasonal changes in completely new, calculated ways. Forests suddenly behaving in these highly coordinated, unexpected patterns that just defy all traditional botany. The scientific community would definitely be the first to realize that something absolutely extraordinary had just occurred.
Section 3. Life with thinking plants.
So think about the micro impacts here. They're incredibly relatable. You wouldn't just be watering your houseplants anymore, you'd literally be negotiating with them for optimal blooms. We'd see smarter farms and gardens where the plants actually tell us exactly what nutrients they need. Plants could actively help humans out, maybe warning us of environmental hazards. And our urban landscapes? Oh wow, they would transform into brilliantly interactive, living green cities where the infrastructure itself is a conscious, cooperating partner.
Section 4. Nature and Humanity Transformed. Now, zooming out a bit, a crucial point here is self-preservation. Intelligent forests would actively protect themselves. They could rapidly and consciously adapt to climate threats, rather than just waiting around for slow generational evolution. Ecosystems would strike incredibly precise balances, simply because the flora is actively managing the whole thing. Entire new relationships and dynamics would form between animals and this newly conscious greenery. Basically, nature is no longer just a resource. It's the manager. And man, that brings us to a massive, really profound shift for humanity. Farming, as we know it, changes completely. Think about it. If a stalk of wheat or an apple tree is intelligent, eating and harvesting them suddenly triggers some immense ethical debates. We'd have to face entirely new legal frameworks. Do trees have rights? Is mowing your lawn suddenly a criminal offense? The entire foundation of human consumption would just be thrown into total shock.
Section 5. Advantages and New Challenges.
Let's break this down a bit. Looking at the advantages, we'd get unprecedented environmental protection, way smarter agriculture born from actual collaboration,
and incredibly strong ecosystems. But look at the challenges. They are just as massive. Food production becomes ethically complex, to say the least. We'd face legal debates we can't even fathom yet. And most concerningly, we open the door to direct human-plant conflicts.
I actually want to pause on this quote from the source material, because it really hits the nail on the head regarding the tension here. Unexpected behavior from intelligent forests could lead to new human-plant conflicts. Just imagine an intelligent forest deciding it no longer wants to be logged, managed, or even walked through by humans. If nature pushes back with conscious strategy, humanity is no longer the undisputed ruler of the planet. We'd have a real rival.
Section 6. Our shared green future.
But if we could somehow navigate that friction, the hopeful possibility is breathtaking collaboration. Humans and plants could share deep historical and biological knowledge. We could work together to protect the planet and solve some seemingly impossible environmental problems. The source material even brings up the amazing idea that plants could help us in space exploration, providing conscious, adapting life support systems for those long journeys. Together, we could build a truly integrated, greener future.
So, to wrap up this fascinating scenario, the core takeaway is that intelligent plants would completely, irreversibly change life on Earth. It would force humanity right off its pedestal and require us to forge an entirely new, respectful relationship with the natural world. We'd have to start treating nature not as property, but as an actual peer. But you might be asking, why does this fictional thought experiment actually matter to us right now? Well, because it serves as a powerful, brilliant reminder of our current reality. Even without human-like consciousness, plants are already incredible. I mean, they're fundamental to our survival, they shape our atmosphere, and they maintain the delicate balance of life on Earth. They are already vital. We just kind of forget to notice them sometimes.
Which leaves us with this final, pretty provocative thought to take away from today's explainer. Look at the plants in your room right now, or the trees out on your street. If they could understand you today, right in this very moment, how would you change the way you treat them? Thank you so much for exploring this with me, and I'll see you in the next explainer.